I would definitely have to say that one of the more interesting aspects of the Star Wars sequel trilogy is exactly how does Luke know Supreme Leader Snoke or vice versa. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one thing that J.J. Abrams started in The Force Awakens was, of course, the use of flashback scenes in those movies in order to give us a better idea of what happened in the past between Luke, Ben, Rey, and all the main characters in the sequel trilogy, and it seems as so that J.J. Abrams will be expanding this for flashbacks in this film. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film when it comes to some of the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art and storyboard descriptions, etc., one of which has all to do with Supreme Leader Snoke and Luke Skywalker. A description of Luke Skywalker in his ceremonial robes, staring at the destruction of his Jedi temple that is on fire, the same one as seen in The Last Jedi. Luke is walking closer to the fire only to begin to see a vision of Snoke in front of the fire that begins to talk to him. Snoke's pointing his finger at Luke with his mouth wide open as if he is yelling at Luke. The next goes over Luke Skywalker with his green lightsaber hilt in his right hand and ignites it and begins to walk towards Snoke. In the background are tons of dead bodies on the ground, and in back of Luke. Luke eventually takes a swing at Snoke only to realize he is a mere vision. This is most likely a Force connection as seen in The Last Jedi between Kylo Ren and Rey. Now, I really do want to explore this a whole lot more now because this honestly opens up the concept of Force bond sequences, right? Now, we saw this quite a bit in The Last Jedi, and it seems as so that Snoke can do this with anybody. Now, at first I thought that maybe he only chose Kylo Ren and Rey and that they were just compatible to actually make that work, but it seems as so now that even Snoke himself can appear in front of anybody across the entire galaxy at will to the character of Luke Skywalker, and I think that the only reason why that we did not see this in The Last Jedi is because Luke Skywalker cut himself off from the Force. And you would think that once Luke Skywalker reconnected, Snoke would be able to use a Force bond on Luke and would actually be able to talk to him again and get an idea of exactly where Luke is. So when it comes to his new generation of Jedi being killed and the destruction of his Jedi temple on this unknown world, it's set ablaze, it's on fire. Luke Skywalker and R2 are witnessing this. Luke actually goes closer to the fire and actually starts to see this vision of Supreme Leader Snoke, and this is honestly something that seems like it's going to be in hell, right? It really does seem very dark and gritty for the character of Luke. It's like as if Snoke is kind of reminding Luke that he has been defeated and that there is no hope left for him. He has taken his nephew and he has turned him to the dark side, and what's done is done. And Luke Skywalker gets angry, ignites his green lightsaber, and takes a swing, only to realize that it is, yes, indeed, a Force bond. Now, with that being said, this also tells us that Luke Skywalker still has his green lightsaber. Also, the novelization hints at this as well. After Luke Skywalker dies and vanishes, one of the nuns, or should I say the caretakers, those creatures in the white dresses, actually find Luke's Jedi weapon, and they store it in one of the, I think it's called the observatories on Octu, where they keep all the different relics that once belonged to ancient Jedi and recent Jedi. So with that being said, guys, I mean, this is a very interesting confrontation between Luke and Snoke, and I really do hope it does make it to the final cut of the movie, because you know what? We've never seen that on screen, and I think that's something that a lot of fans really want to see, is just these two characters looking at each other face to face. Even Luke said himself in The Last Jedi, Snoke had already turned his heart. Luke has some kind of history with Snoke. He knows who Snoke is, and he knows his name. How does he really know his name? That's another question to open on the table, right? I think that maybe he got it through Leia, but even so, how would Leia know who Snoke is? Now, there's a comic coming out in late 2019, it's called Age of Resistance, and one of the issues, a whole entire issue, is going to be all dedicated to Supreme Leader Snoke himself, and it's going to be exploring all of these new reveals, some revelations, new facts about the character, new adventures for the character, we're going to be learning a whole lot more about the character of Snoke. And hey, ironically, that issue drops just a month before episode 9 releases. So I don't think that that's a coincidence. I think that there's something to be shown in episode 9 when it comes to Snoke. And I really do believe that we're going to learn some big things late next year of 2019. But yeah, guys, I would really love to hear what you have to say about all of this confrontation between Luke and Snoke. Like I said, it sounds like, Luke is in his own hell here, watching it burn down, his Jedi temple, all his Jedi students dead around him, some of them taken from his nephew, now turned to the dark side. And after all of that, he sees a vision of Snoke, who is taunting Luke. And Luke actually takes a swing with his green lightsaber and goes up against him, only to find out he's not really there. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.